This time, I will tell you the story of Cinderella. Once upon a time, in a golden city, there lived a beautiful girl. The girl's name was Cinderella. Cinderella lived happily with her mother, and she had a dream. Her dream was to marry a handsome prince. One day, Cinderella's mother passed away due to illness. After that, Cinderella had to live with her stepmother and stepsisters. Cinderella endured mistreatment from her new family but kept a kind heart and worked hard. As time passed, Cinderella grew into a beautiful young woman. Coincidentally, a grand ball was announced at the royal palace for the prince's birthday. Cinderella desperately wanted to attend the ball, but her stepmother refused to let her go. She tore Cinderella's beautiful dress and left her alone at home while she and her stepsisters went to the ball. Cinderella was left behind, feeling sad. Before long, a magical fairy appeared before Cinderella. The fairy granted her a dazzling dress, glass slippers, and a pumpkin carriage. However, the fairy made one condition: Cinderella must leave the ball before midnight when the magic would wear off. Cinderella happily rode the pumpkin carriage to the ball. Arriving at the ball, Cinderella captivated everyone with her beauty. Her stepmother and stepsisters didn't recognize her, thinking such a beautiful lady couldn't be Cinderella. The prince noticed Cinderella and invited her to dance. As they danced, the prince fell in love with her. As midnight approached, Cinderella remembered the fairy's warning and rushed away from the ball. In her haste, she left behind one of her glass slippers. The prince, determined to find the mysterious lady, searched the kingdom for the owner of the glass slipper. After trying the glass slipper on every noblewoman in the kingdom, the prince finally arrived at Cinderella's house. Her stepsisters tried to wear the slipper, but it didn't fit. When Cinderella put on the slipper, it fit perfectly. At that moment, Cinderella transformed from her humble attire into a beautiful princess. The prince, overjoyed to find Cinderella, proposed to her. Cinderella accepted his proposal, and they forgave her stepmother and stepsisters for their past mistreatment. Cinderella and the prince returned to the royal palace, where they lived happily ever after. The story I'm going to tell you this time is Snow White. Once upon a time, in the kingdom of the forest, there lived a beautiful queen. She wished to have a daughter as lovely as herself. One day, a fairy from the forest came to her and granted her wish, and a baby girl was born. She was named Snow White. Somewhere in the forest of the kingdom, there lived a wicked witch. The witch asked her mirror every day to confirm her beauty. "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?" The mirror replied, "The queen in the northern forest is the fairest of them all." Enraged, the witch decided to kill the queen of the northern forest. Disguised as an old woman, the witch went to the queen and handed her a poisoned apple. Unaware of the witch's true identity, the queen took the apple and fell into a deep sleep, leaving Snow White alone in the world. The wicked witch, now the queen of the forest, continued to torment the kingdom. Snow White, expelled to the forest, met 7 dwarfs. As time passed, she grew into a beautiful woman, loved by the dwarfs and the animals in the forest. However, a tragic event unfolded in the kingdom. One day, the witch, now the queen, approached her mirror again. "Mirror, mirror on the wall, "Who's the fairest of them all?" The mirror replied, "Snow White, living with the dwarfs in the forest, is the fairest." Enraged once again, the witch decided to kill Snow White. Unaware of the danger, Snow White was approached by the witch disguised as an old woman, who offered her a poisoned apple. Snow White, not recognizing the disguised witch, ate the apple and fell into a deep sleep. Upon hearing this, the mirror informed the witch that she was now the fairest in the world. Satisfied, the witch disappeared into the royal palace. Snow White's friends in the forest gathered, trying to wake her up, but she remained in a deep sleep due to the curse on the poisoned apple. The forest friends mourned her deeply. One day, a prince from a neighboring kingdom came to the forest for hunting. While wandering, he came across the sleeping Snow White. Enchanted by her beauty, he approached her and gave her a warm kiss. Miraculously, the curse from the poisoned apple was broken, and Snow White woke up. Witnessing Snow White's awakening, all the forest friends rejoiced. The prince rescued Snow White and defeated the wicked witch in the forest. The people of the forest kingdom came to love Snow White and the prince. Eventually, Snow White and the prince got married and lived happily ever after.